Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to our usual Monday program, The Debate. And today we'll be having a very interesting topic. Remember, we are not leaving women out. So today we have a topic which will be women in public service and their role in developing countries. And would be with me in studio today, Tracy Kadada, who will be joining me shortly. I think Tracy is around already. Okay, Tracy is around. While she gets settled, remember, I am your host, Mbolifor Elvis Ambe. And today, like I said, I have Tracy Kadada, who is signaling that she's really around and will be taking us on women in public service and their role in developing countries. While she settles down, we wish to take this opportunity to thank all those who participated with us during the African Week. We are thinking about His Excellency, sorry, Mr. Martin Hajaba. We have equally Professor Ruben Alabi. We have Professor Peter Aipopodion, Dr. Beatrice Lukose, Professor Dr. Osmond Ozo. We equally were opportune to have His High Excellency Mrs. Masekwa Masi Mwamba and Dr. Adeleke Salamin. We are not forgetting High Excellency Balbina da Silva, who spent a whole week with us during this African week. And within this week, we equally had something to do with music. We are not leaving out Mrs. Tutu Westerhoff, who treat us on how we can use music to domesticate the Agenda 2063. I think my panelist is around. Let me invite her in so that she joins us on this program because she'll be taking us around on how women can participate in the development of Africa. Tracy, you're welcome to the Sumpon platform.
Thank you very much for giving me that opportunity. I'm humbled.
You're welcome. I was afraid that internet was playing a bad one on us and that I may not be having you today. So I started off already by appreciating all those who spent a week with us on the African Week program. And we had quite a hectic week, welcoming everybody again from the tiring week because we were on from Monday to Saturday. And it was a week that we will always remember. And like we said, that we are ending the week, but not stopping the domestication of our Agenda 2063. So you're welcome, you introduce yourself, and then we'll get to the topic of the day, which is women in public service and their role in developing countries. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. My name is Tracey Kadada, and I'm from Kenya and work with the community. And I have an organization called Mustard Seeds, Angels of Kenya. And we deal with able different children, mostly who have autism and cerebral palsy. And also we deal with children that their parents are in prison and they don't have any means, and so we try to empower their mother, or we try to empower the children or take them back to school. And finally we also have a home where we have children that are vulnerable, so I stay with those children. They are 18 in number, and most of the things that I do, mainly it's just for the community.
Thank you so much. I think what really caught my attention is when you talk about empowering women, especially those who are unable to make ends meet, and equally taking care of vulnerable children. Tracy, you are a square peg in a square hole. Remember, we said we are not leaving women behind. And so, you as a woman, and looking forward to see that women have a better position and that even those who are underprivileged can always know that there is somebody who is thinking about them and wanting them to be what they want themselves to be and to make life equally very comfortable. You are welcome and we are happy, even though you're always with us. But this is the first time we're having you on set like this, and I am happy and I think and believe that you're going to thrill us with what women can do as well as how they can play their own role in developing Africa. And you are already doing a very commendable job taking care of children, taking care of women, and equally those parents or children whose parents are in prison. I must say you are relieving quite a number of families for the coming generations. Tracy, we talk about public service today. I just wanted to inquire, I want to inquire from you, what is your general impression about public service in developing countries? Some
Um,
connection problems. Tracy will be joining us.
yes, your internet is cutting down, but I think you've asked me what is my impression about the public service.
In developing countries, okay, Tracy, your back network is playing a very fast one on us. I was asking you, what is your impression about public service in developing countries?
First of all, before we go further, what is public service? In a very simple term, public service is a service rendered to the public, to a community, or to a society. So, my impression about the public service that we have, let me talk mainly about East Africa because I know East Africa more than the rest of Africa. We really have very, very poor public service. And my impression about it, it's not good. We need to really work hard to see that we've achieved the vision that we want in our country to 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 see a better public services being done to our people. For example, we have examples of public services that we know that are very, very bad. If we start with our courts, we see there's a problem in our court. If we go to healthcare, there's a problem with our healthcare. If we go to education, there's a big, big, big problem. Big one, big one in our education. If we go to our military, there's a problem there. If we go to public transportation, there are some countries even who are still not accessing transportation. So we are still behind. I can't say that we've really done so well. We are trying, but we are not there. So my impression is not good about it. That's how I feel.
You've listed quite a good number of public services, and you say, without any fear of contradiction, that we are very poor as far as public services are concerned, and that we need to work hard. You are in a public service, maybe your system is solely public service where you expect to have people around. How do you do, Tracy? Let me get into your organization to make actually the services that you render to be much more better, uh, or like what you expect to have in other services. You're really going to have a hard time today. Network is not very good. Before Tracy comes back, I was saying that on the some point, social services, we will be having in August master classes where most Africans, youth, of course, are usually pitch from the programs that they will present from their projects. And during this week, we have a week or so, or 8 days that we work with these youths. And at the end of the day, one or two projects are selected. I'm saying one or two, but the limit is actually, or the number is actually high. But in most cases, the youths don't meet the standards, and so we usually have just about one or two that are selected. We wish equally to encourage youth because most projects sometimes do not look sustainable. And you remember when we talk about projects, we don't just think of what obtains today, but think of a project that can help and see that future generations actually benefit from these projects. And so we're encouraging youths all around Africa to prepare their projects. August, I suppose, is the time that we'll be having the program, if not online like we had in the past year because of the crisis that we have. We had to do this online, and I bet you some were selected and they are doing very well. We had Nomadlo, who was with us during the African Week, who presented us networking, and that is a product from the Sampon Social Service. We knew her during our programs on the Global TV, where we talk about Agenda 2063 and equally interact with youths to help domesticate and to make this agenda known to many. And I will tell you that many have known this agenda through the Sunpoint Global TV. And we're happy and calling on everyone to put their hands on deck so that together we can make this agenda known and together we can domesticate this agenda. Tracy, you're back with us. Network is not very fine today. We're hoping that we'll be able to go through with our program and that our message, our information that we have today for Africans, for the world, for the youths, for the women is going to go through. If you are with me, Tracy, I was inquiring from you that when you talked about your impression, you gave your impression on public service, you said it is still very poor and that we need to work hard to get to the heights that we want. And I was asking that you're doing social service, which can be likened to a public service because you receive many kinds of people. And I was inquiring, how do you do it in a way that you expect that it should be done out there so that everybody can be satisfied with the work that is being done?
Um, First of all, I deal with children, and children, they need education. So according to our system, the way our education is right now, the system only trains our children to read and then to get employed, which is very wrong. So according to me, when the children that I take care of, I make sure they go to school. But at the same time, I always tell them, go to school, it is good, but be creative, do something. So we have things that we do with them that can empower them. I tell them it's not wrong to know how to do a little business for yourself. You can start selling things when you are young, and at the same time you're going to school. You can be a carpenter at your age. You can do sports. You can be creative in just in your own way, and that will help you. As in, if you finish education, you don't have to rely on your papers. You have something that is aside that it can help you in future. But you see, in our education, the system is you just go to school for the, like here in Kenya, you go for 8 years in primary. For here in Kenya, you go for 8 years in university. Work having nothing. So when you have the papers there, you have a degree, you don't have any other skills. So it's very important to tell our children that they should be creative. our youths or our students that apart from learning what you're being taught, whether history, geography, they also need to have something aside that can create a living for them. And so when you do that, you see like there are so many women who are very creative. Like for a girl child, there are so many things that they do. They can weave, they can cook, which in our system, in our Kenyan system, we don't have those things like cooking. We don't have those system like design. But they can start when they are young. Entertainment, they can do when they are young. So in other words, you're empowering them.
Okay, thank you so much. You're
Can you
encouraging the
hear me?
youth. Yes, I am getting you 5 on 5. I'm saying that you're encouraging the youths to already begin at an early age learning a trade so that that trade they can go alongside with it with studies and so that at an older age they are able already to know how to fend for themselves and equally know that life is not the bed of roses and that they have to work very hard. I thank you for that submission, Tracy. Like we talk about public services, some people do not think that public services are actually public. What is your impression about this assertion? Tracy, can you get me? I was asking that what is your impression about the assertion that people have and they think that public services are not actually public indeed?
For me, I support them. The reason why I support them is because anything that is public,
We are having a very difficult time getting Tracy. Surely her network is not very stable, and so that is why you have the cracks on her responses. So I was wanting to get from her if public services are actually public, because many people have in mind that since they cannot be served as they really want to be served in public places, it becomes a problem. And we're looking at our hospitals, we say public service health, and you go to a hospital, and if you do not deposit money, nobody attends to you. And so people begin to ask themselves, is this really public? Even in schools that we have today, getting admission into schools that is supposed to be a public service becomes a problem. And so we're asking ourselves if these are really public. So I wanted to know equally from Tracy if she is of the opinion whether these services are actually public. But we know that we are supposed, and that is our right, to get access to these places, be given information concerning the public places and orientation equally on how we should go around. That notwithstanding, we have equally people who have not diluted their standards or their dignity, and they continue to always being of service to those who come around, and they always help anybody to either even take you around to the service that you want to visit or direct you properly on how you can go about it. We are looking about public service and how women can play their own role in developing countries. And when we talk of the role that women can play, we're thinking of how women can improve this sector or how they are already improving the sector in making Africa better. My guest will be coming back. While she comes back, we'll talk about the master class that will be taking place here on the Sunpon Social Service. If everything works very well, we are going to have the class physically with everybody present, participant present. And I bet you it's always very interesting when everybody is present and you can feel the warmth of each and everyone in the program or present in the hall, create networks and equally exchange with them. These classes have been going on, or these classes have been going on for quite a number of years now, and many youths, like I said, have benefited from the program. Though some are not really accountable, but we are not relenting. We are continuing to see that they can do better, they can do best equally, and encouraging those who have not known about the Agenda 2063. It is the agenda cut, shaped by Africans for Africans. And so we're encouraging youths to read this agenda and let it be a watchword for them, and that everything they do, they should know that the future will be asking them, what did you do for Africa and not what Africa did for you? And if we begin to ask that question to ourselves, then we are going to make Africa better. On the some point social service and some point global TV equally, we have other programs that will interest you. We have a business class that goes on Sundays. We have racism on Thursday, I suppose, for Wednesday, if I'm not mistaking the dates. My memory is very good. And we equally have social service that takes place on this platform with Mrs. Helen Batemona Abeke. I am here at some point. It's always fireworks and the knowledge you get from here. You cannot get it anywhere. Thank you, Tracy. You're back. Network is playing a fast one on us, and that is why we are saying it is a social or public service or social service equally. We are supposed to have connection, internet at all corners, but that is not what obtains with us in most African countries, if not all African countries, and it is a problem communicating. And this explains equally why during the African Week we were not able to have many youths connecting or joining the program, especially from Africa, because even just getting the internet is a problem. When you even have the internet, it doesn't flow normally as it's supposed to flow. Tracy, thank you for coming back. Before your network went off, I was asking or inquiring from you, uh, are you really certain, or can you say that public services are actually public in developing countries?
No, I don't see, because they don't have a standard of the public service.
Okay, when you say standard of the public service, what do you mean by that?
Well, let's start first of all with electricity. For example, it's a simple thing. We need to have electricity everywhere. But you can find that in some parts of Africa or some parts in my country, there are people with no electricity. So there are people who don't even access, they do not have access to what we are doing now. They don't know anything about internet. They don't know anything about television. They don't know anything about they don't have any access to to electricity, not because their is full of corruption. There are some people who are supposed to be doing that, but they're not doing that. They're doing the opposite. So you find that that place can have a public service, but it's not having because of some people who are not doing their work well. So we don't have the standards. Let's go to hospitals. It's a good example in hospitals. In African countries, it's a pity that you can find two people sleeping in one bed. It's a pity that you can go to an hospital in Africa and you still find there is no medicine. It's a pity that in Africa, they are the ones who are even fighting herbal medicine. It's a pity in Africa that we even don't have enough doctors. Our best doctors, they are in abroad. It's a pity in Africa, our nurses are few and they are not doing their work well. If you go there, when you're sick, you become more sick because of the customer care that you'll be given there. It's a pity that our doctors, our nurses, they are still asking for their pay and the government is taking taxes on people. So can you tell me that that public hospital has a standard of a public service, and yet people are being taxed? And every day when we are being taxed, you are being told, we are doing this for your betterment. Which betterment? If you cannot get a doctor, you cannot be treated, you cannot get a bed for yourself, you sleep down on the floor, you queue for long hours to get what you need. And because the doctors are not being paid and the nurses are being paid, they are frustrated and bitter. They don't know even how to talk to sick people. It's still a pity. Let's go to our education, schools. Do you know in my country, as I'm speaking, going to school under have never experienced education. There are some people who are grown-ups, but they don't know even how to write their name. And we are 53 years in independence now. So tell me, what standard are those? And there is money set aside for public schools. There is money set aside for public university. And yet, the same teachers, the same lecturers, they don't get paid. Do you want to tell me that if somebody is hungry and you want him to work for you, will he work for you or he will rebel? These people, they've got families to feed. These people, they've got their needs. They've got to pay for their shelter. They've got rent. They've got other things. So if they are not paid, they won't deliver good services.
Thank you
And
very much,
who
Tracy.
are we to blame them? We blame the government.
Thank you
Better
so much.
public
Thank you.
services.
Okay.
I still say no. It's not, I don't have the services.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, Tracy. Yeah, that was just to get us into our program. And now we're looking at how women can actually impact, or what role do they play in the public services in order to make Africa better. And I would like to know from you whether you already gave us some examples already of public service. You talked of schools, hospitals, transportation. And now in the developing countries, which are those areas that women actually do perform well when they are in the public services?
First of all, African women are very, very hardworking. And that's a plus. When we go to education center, the best teachers are women because they act as mentors, they act as parents and teachers. So they take all that burden to themselves. When we look at entertainment, the best actors you can see, they are women. So they perform their duties very, 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 very well when it comes to that. When you go to health services, like where we see the nurses are always there caring, having shifts. They're there in the morning. Also nowadays we can see that we have very good women as leaders, presidents, activists. We've seen them. They are doing great things on the ground. So they perform very well if they've.
Okay, Tracy, you're saying that women can perform very well when they are given posts of responsibility. There is this saying that men don't really like to hear when women say it, when they say that what a man can do, a woman can do better, even best. That is always said by women. What is your take about this assertion? Do you agree, or do you think that men can always do it best than women? Tracy, can you get me?
When it comes to there, you'll have to forgive me. For me, that statement first is very wrong. To me, I always feel it's bad because we are we are we are we are human beings, and we are all gifted in different aspects. So if I come and I start saying that I can do better than so and so, it's not right because everybody is gifted with their own ability. And when we start, we women comparing ourselves with men, we are going to lose. Because in the forefront, men are meant to be the head. I'm sorry for those that oppose, but that's my opinion. Men are supposed to be the heads. I'm not saying because the man is the head, you should not work hard to be better. I'm not saying because the man is the head, he should um, he should oppress you or mistreat you. But we should have our limits. So even if I can do better achievement, and I should be proud proud about it. But saying men can do better, what a man has their own ability, do it to your limit can achieve. But you should not compare yourself with any male, because male, they were born have their own ability. Christian. So if men and thinking we are greater than them, if we are married, we are not going to break our home, children who are female. That if you have a better job, you should have the pride in you and do better, or if you have that pride that you can do better. And there is a wife. There is that man wants, so is a female. Learn how to work, start.
We have problems there with Tracy, inquiring if she's of the opinion that what a man can do, a woman can do better. And our opinion is that everybody has his or her own capabilities, and we should instead complement each other and not want to challenge whether what a man can do, a woman can do better. Tracy, when I get your stand, I understand where you're coming from, and I wish to ask equally that when you say that we should not, or men or women should not compare themselves to men, do you really see women doing their own quota to make Africa better? Do you see women really applying what they know in order to make Africa better? Do you actually see women playing their own part in making Africa better, Tracy?
Yes, I do see it. And I have an example of women that are doing great things. For yes, I see them playing a great part, because um, most women now, they they've been empowered. And for example, if we see somebody like Suluhu Hassan, the president of Tanzania, she's doing a great part, because she's now representing. She will go to school. She'll make sure that the children's rights are being considered. She'll stand for the elect more women. We will have more women that are really caring for other women, for a girl child. We have women who are there before, like Grasha Machel. Do you know Grasha Machel is the only first lady that was married in two African countries, and through that it brought unity into those countries. It might look as a simple thing, but if you look at it, Grasha Machel was able And you see, the lady, she's advocating for the rights of equity. People can't see. For me, I know she's a lady that is doing great things. We had a woman called Wangari Maathai. Wangari Maathai advocated for the trees are just trees. Best scenario because of Wangari Maathai. She refused that if you cut a tree, you have to plant. She was always fighting for the trees. And through that, we learned that we need trees. And she educated women on the importance of trees. She told women that if you take there are some trees, they have forgotten their name. If you plant those trees, the government is going to pay you because those trees are being used as poles for electricity. So every woman in her homestead, if she had like 6 kids, she would plant trees because of those children to go to school. And through that, she empowered the women. Because when they sold the trees to the government, they were able to feed their family, and at the same time, they were able to educate their kids. So women for Lupis, and she's really supporting women. She's making sure that she enter women. So what we see here is that women are really coming up with good things. In Kenya, we have our Chief Justice called Martha Koome. She's the first Chief Justice. This culture, they cannot allow a woman to sit on that chair. But she proved them wrong when she was being interviewed. And her first thing she was saying, she said that she really wants to empower women so that we can have more judges in the courts than what we have now.
Thank you very much for those women that you have made us to know and their role that they play. Now, I wish to inquire from you, what are those qualities that women do have that can actually get a country like developing countries much more developed than what we have today, if these women are placed in positions of responsibility? Tracy, I'm inquiring from you the qualities that women do have that make them better perform their activities in different areas and which can make Africa much better.
First of all, we women, let me start with myself. We are multi talented. We can multitask. So that is one.
Okay, you say women can multitask. Yeah, go
That's why
ahead.
I'm saying women are gifted in many ways. And the first quality is we can see that they are very hard work. And another thing, women in Africa, they tenacity, multitask, and then women, they have a tenacity. You know, read. So, and she makes sure that that thing is going to go on after generation after generation. So they are gifted in sustainability. They can have they are good in listening. So because if you have a woman who cannot face people, that's already they come from their culture, the people they experience, because they are the ones that work on the ground. They have very good public speaking gifts. And also, most women, they are full of integrity. Because a woman knows that if I mess here, I'm going to mess for my children and for my generation. And I'm going to mess for myself. Unlike a man who knows that even if I mess here, I'm polygamous. So some people will be affected and others won't be affected. But for a woman, she always considers her family first.
Thank you very much for those qualities. You say women are creative, they listen more, they are multitask, they are good at public speaking, and they are full of integrity, and they consider family always first. And I'm sure when you ended with family first being considered, I know that you actually are a mother. And when I look at the children that you're bringing up equally in your organization, I know that these children are well placed. Thank you so much. I equally wish to talk about Professor Alabi. He says always that if you make a woman to be more to have money, that you make her liquidity, you increase her liquidity, the family equally benefits more than if you increase the liquidity of the man who will first think of having a drink somewhere with his friends and end up coming home empty-handed. Thank you very much. And today, like we said, we're looking at how women can play their own role in the public service and equally how their role can help in the development of Africa. And we are looking at how we can make Africa very best, very better in the nearest future. Thank you, Tracy, for being with us. We wish equally to recognize the presence of those who are following us on Facebook as well as on YouTube live every Monday, 7 a.m. and equally 7 p.m., 8 p.m. German time. German time is 1 hour ahead of most of the African countries. And so it's always a problem. Sometimes when we have guests who confuse the time. Myself, I do sometimes think that I have an hour ahead of me when it's already time for the program. Thank you so much, Mary Di Caro, who is there with us and commenting behind. It helps us equally to know that you're there and to know that you're following us. Thank you so much, ma'am. We're encouraging youths of other countries like Kenya. We have had many Kenyan youths who have been participating here with us, a handful of them, and it's always good because when you come, at least one or two persons, even in your household, will get to know about Agenda 2063. And it's a good thing we are doing our job and we're putting our hands all on the plow to see that we domesticate this agenda because it is our agenda. From what you have said, Tracy, I begin to see that Africa can actually count on her women if they are placed in positions of power, of authority equally, so that Africa can be home for everybody. And that all the things they do most of the times are so sustainable. I think you mentioned that equally, because they do not just think of the now. They know that if they mess here, I'm using your words, they are equally going to mess their own children, and the children are going to suffer from the things they have done. So they are always very conscious in everything they do because they know that family first. And when family is considered first, everything is done as it is supposed to be done. Thank you, Tracy, so very much. Remember, on the 23rd of June, we will be celebrating the Public Service Day. And if you were asked, Tracy, to propose on a theme for this day, we already have a theme. If you are asked to propose a theme for this day, what will you focus on in the proposition of a theme for the the Public Service Day? Tracy takes a long time to get me. She should be having serious problems with her network. Tracy, are you getting me now? We are looking at women in the public service and the role they can play to make Africa better. Tracy, can you get me? She actually seems to have problems with her network. Thank you already for joining the program. It's always our pleasure. When women are with us, we don't want to leave them behind because the Agenda 2063 seeks to give women that equality that they deserve so that they can work hand in gloves with men and make Africa actually a better place. Tracy, can you get me now? If you're getting me, I wish to know from you. Like I said, we'll be celebrating the Public Service Day by the 23rd of June. It is an occasion that comes up every 23rd of June. Though we already have a theme, if you were asked to propose a theme this day, what are
I will
those areas?
sustainability. Yes, I'm getting you.
All right.
I will choose the theme to be. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead, Tracy. I lost Tracy there. Okay, she was about to give us her opinion on the theme
African
that.
sustainability forever. The reason why.
Yes, Tracy? Go ahead. I got African sustainability forever. That is a theme that you would have loved that we talk about. Go ahead. The network was cutting, so I didn't get you
Well,
to.
why I choose Africa? Yes. Ye-
Go
Yes,
ahead.
the reason why I choose that is because I want um, our African women to be unique. And when we are doing things, if we've said, let's say we are we are voting women, we don't just vote to be a continuous thing. So we are voting them in. If health or education, we make it a habit that this is a system that should be done every day and should be done yearly and should be continuous until our generation learn that we are for women. Because to say the truth, most of the women are not for women. So we should support our women. So we should be sustainable in whatever we are doing. We should encourage them. Women should mentor women. Women should bank women. Women like that. If we lift ourselves up, then no woman is going to cry, because everybody will be looking after each other's shoulder and will be lifting and leaning on each other's shoulder. So that is how I thought about the.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Quite a powerful one there. We were inquiring, or wanted to inquire from Tracy, what would be her opinion if she were in a position to choose a theme for the for the Public Service Day. And she says she would have gone for African sustainability forever. And her reasons are that she thinks that all African women are unique, or that they should be unique, and she concludes by saying that if women lift women, no woman will cry. Remember, we are talking about women, and this agenda puts women at the center of its processes so that no woman is left behind. And Tracy puts it so very well that if we lift women, no woman will cry. Tracy, we are running already to the end of the program. you're running an organization, a woman, and we want to empower women. Now, how can you partner, or how will you wish to partner with the African Union so that through you, through women, Africa can be better tomorrow?
I think that the best thing that they can do is to vote for more Africans to join the AU, the African Union. African women with different leadership. They should make sure that they are voted in more than men. And they are considered because if they vote more women in the AU.
Quite unfortunate, we cannot get Tracy very well because of her network. Thank you, Tracy.
And when they go to the ground,
Thank you so much, Tracy. Network really has been a challenge for us today. We're looking at public service and the role of women in developing countries. Thank you very much. I think we had quite much from you. We began off by having your impression about public service, and you said though it is still very poor, we need to work very hard. And you say that women are best in areas or posts of responsibility because these women are creative, they listen to every person very well. They can multitask, and that they have the gift of public speaking, full of integrity, and never forget family. Means they always put family first. And to know from you what would have been the best theme for the public service day, you say you would have gone for African sustainability forever. And you say that you go for this because you think that women should be unique, and that if women are lifted up, no woman will cry. And you talk about more African women being elected into the AU. I wish to already salute His Excellency Salah Hamad, who was with us during the African Week. I salute you, sir. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all the information that you gave us during this program. We are ending our program today while hoping that next week is going to be a better one for us without network hitches. Thank you very much, Tracy Kadada from Kenya, who took up her time to talk to us about the role of women in public service and how they too can put their hands on deck to make Africa better. Thank you very much, and thank all those who are following us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Tomorrow is going to be better, and giving up is never an option for us on the Sumpon Global TV. Goodbye.